In our 92nd year, the Tennessee Farm Bureau Federation continues to gain its success from our volunteer leaders. And today we honor 5 more outstanding leaders with the Distinguished Service Award for their dedication to Farm Bureau and improving agriculture and rural life.
I am Terry Edgar Cuff. I was named for my father. He was Edgar Cuff. I was born in Camden, Tennessee at Dr. Hicks's clinic, August 1st, 1940.
Mr. Terry Cuff was an only child born to Edgar Allen and Jewel Pfeiffer Cuff. The Cuff family first settled in Benton County in 1837. He is the 7th generation to live and work on the same ground just a few miles outside of Camden, and he fondly remembers his younger days of helping his father on the farm.
I hoed cotton, and I picked cotton, and I gathered corn, and we had chickens. We had a large flock of chickens for Benton County at that time. We had 1,000 laying hens. I've seen some pictures, and I remember helping my father saw up wood with an old crosscut saw. Then we got a tractor. We had a little cutoff saw on it, brought in the poles and sawed them up that way. We got electricity in 1948. We got a pump in the well to water the chickens, and as a benefit of that, we got water in the house. We had the little brown shack out back. I grew up with that. So I kind of grew up in a transition period between old technology and newer technology.
Mr. Cuff attended Eva Elementary School and then graduated from Camden Central High School in 1957. He then attended Drawn's Business College in Nashville for a short time and then started working at the Commerce Union Bank in Camden just before he started his long career at DuPont in New Johnsonville. And it was at Christmas of 1959 that he offered his hand in marriage to the former Rita Jane Hawley.
DuPont built a pigment plant in New Johnsonville, Tennessee, across the river. So I put my application in. About that time, I'd become acquainted with this little black-headed girl that I had been going to school with, only she was 3 years behind me. And you know, at that age, 3 years is a world. It's an age of difference. And I'd never paid much attention to her. And finally, she grew up, and I grew up, and I started paying a little attention to her. We became engaged, and DuPont called me and wanted me to come work at them in September the 19th of 1960. Well, I checked out of the bank on September the 17th, got married on September the 18th, and went to work for DuPont on September the 19th. And if you don't think that was a busy weekend, you need to think a little bit more.
Terry and Rita had 3 children, one of which died at age 7, and they now enjoy their 2 grandchildren that represent the 9th generation on the family farm. Mr. Cuff continued working at DuPont and retired after more than 38 years. He also maintained a truck crop garden, selling vegetables at the local farmers market. And since he can remember, the family has had strong ties to the Flatwoods United Methodist Church, where he continues to be an active leader on many of the church committees and for years has served in a leadership role on the disaster response team.
I have been at various times Sunday school teacher, Sunday school superintendent, chairman of the board, chairman of the board of trustees. Right now I'm teaching Sunday school and Sunday school superintendent. I have been the delegate to annual conference for about the last 10 years, so I've been active off and on in it for my entire life. Just the fact that it's there, it's something to lean on, it's something to, in times of trouble, it's something that you can go to. It helps to be associated with like-minded people. That's I guess the main thing. It's kind of like an old shoe. It's just comfortable.
And just like his dedication to his church, Mr. Cuff and his wife have been dedicated to Farm Bureau. His parents were members, and soon after the Cuffs were married, they got their insurance from Farm Bureau. And it was in the mid-1960s when he was first elected to the board of directors, and he's still serving on the board today.
I was asked to or elected or something, and I started out as on the board of directors in 1966. And I started out as an officer. I started out as secretary-treasurer. And I was secretary-treasurer for 2, 3, 4 years, something like that. Then I was elected president. I've been president for about 30 years of the last 47. Right now I'm just on the board, but I've been on the board since beginning in 1966. It seems like family, and I guess I'm going to say the Farm Bureau just kind of seems like family. I grew up in it, and it's just comfortable. It's just something I feel good about.
Mrs. Cup has for many years been active with Farm Bureau as well, helping to share the story of agriculture with the children of Benton County. And since 1968, Mr. Cup has only missed one state convention in his many years of service, and it's because of that dedication and commitment to advancing Farm Bureau values and principles that he receives the organization's highest honor, the Distinguished Service Award.
Then they gave me the letter, and I read it. I've never used this word much before, but I was dumbfounded. And of course, like I told them, I have never done anything to get recognition. I've done things because they needed doing. And that's what has moved me all of my life, is just doing what needed doing. And I had seen these presentations for years and years thinking, wow, they have really done a whole lot. And now then, here I am sitting here. Wow, what have I done?
It's a privilege for me to present this program, this award to Terry. He's one of the most dedicated, deserving, and respected individuals that's around. And Terry, I want to congratulate you and present you this award, and thank you.
Thank you. And a good morning. You all are the most lucky people in the world this morning. When I found out I was going to get this, I started working on me a speech. That was a couple of months ago. I'm not much of a speaker. I can talk all day, but I'm not much of a speaker. And in 2 months, I had a good, big, long speech worked up. Then I found out this morning I didn't have that much time. So that's why I say you all are the luckiest people around. And I guess about all I've got to say is kind of like, I understand Elvis Presley used to close out his concerts and his appearances. Thank you. Thank you very much.
My full name is Ruby Geraldine Bennett DeMenthe, and I was born in Cleveland, Tennessee, Bradley County, in November the 17th, 1929.
Mrs. Jerry DeMenthe was the oldest child of 13 born to Frank and Clara Renner Bennett. Her father worked for the Tennessee Power Company and also had a farm just south of Cleveland in the Waterville community.
My daddy took me to the field with him, and I followed a mule behind a gee-whiz, we called it, many times, helping him plow corn and do things like that, because we didn't even have a tractor at all for many, many years. And how Mother and Daddy fed all of us and kept all of us warm, and I don't know. It's just still a mystery to me. But I can remember that we never went to bed cold or never went to bed hungry, because we always had a big garden. Mother and Daddy were, I think, miracle workers.
Being the oldest of 13, Mrs. DeMenthe had many responsibilities growing up. She was active in 4-H and attended Waterville Elementary and then graduated from Bradley County High School in 1945. She then went on to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and that's where she met the love of her life, Mr. Joe Jack DeMenthe from Bedford County.
We met in the chemistry and English classes at UT. He invited me to an ag club party out at Morgan Hall. They had square dances back then, and of course both of us loved to square dance, and so we'd go to the square dances, and that's really how our courtship sort of began to blossom.
The DeMenthes were married on December 17, 1949 in Knoxville at their home away from home, the Baptist Student Union. Mr. DeMenthe completed his degree in agriculture, and they moved back to his family's farm near Normandy, and they started their family and had 3 boys and a girl. Today, there are 11 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren. After living and working on farms in Bradley County and Franklin County, Mr. DeMenthe was hired as the farm manager at Middle Tennessee State University's farm in Murfreesboro in 1964. He later started teaching ag at MTSU and retired in 1985. Mrs. DeMenthe completed her degree and got her master's in education and taught second grade for 27 years at Reeves Rogers Elementary School near the MTSU campus. All along, they maintained their own farm in Las Casas that they moved to in 1970. The DeMenthe's passion for agriculture has always been evident and enhanced even more so through their work in Farm Bureau.
We felt like the people who we had met, and that was just something worthy. And of course, being farm backgrounds and agriculture has always been so important to both of us that we felt that was maybe one way we could help spread the word. And of course, now as I've gotten older, I realize so many young people are so far removed from the farm that it's just important that they know where their food and fiber and fuel comes from.
And the DeMenthes have done their part to share that all-important story of agriculture through Farm Bureau. Mr. DeMenthe, who passed away in July of this year, served for many years on the Board of Directors in Rutherford County, including 4 years as president. Mrs. DeMenthe has been a proud member for 63 years, serving on many local and state committees and chairman of the Women's Committee for 15 years. And for the past 18 years, she's been on the Board of Directors. She's also been an active leader in the community, serving on the 4-H Alumni Board, Leadership Rutherford, the Rutherford County Soil Conservation District, the Lions Club, the Rutherford Farmers Co-op, and the Rutherford County Beekeepers Association. And for nearly 50 years, she's been active and proud of her church, Northminster Presbyterian.
Both of us sang in the choir, and I, at one time, taught Sunday school classes and active in the women's group, and I'm still an elder on the session. Church has been a big part of our lives all down through the years, just because we feel like we've been so blessed.
And Mrs. Jerry DeMenthe and her late husband, Mr. Joe Jack DeMenthe, have been a blessing to their church, their family, and most definitely to Farm Bureau. Her years of service and dedication to promoting and protecting the Christian principles of this organization have been invaluable. And for that commitment to leadership, she's being honored with the Distinguished Service Award.
And I was absolutely flabbergasted, just because I haven't done all that much at all, but I'm deeply humbled and certainly appreciative. But I had a lot of help all along the way. And I still pinch myself and try to think, am I dreaming, or is this really true? But it's just a very humbling experience.
I've often said I think this podium is about the highlight of my year as district director, and this is no exception. A little bit tough, I guess, but on this one. But you know, you never told me you were a square dancer. That's you always learn. You always learn something other. But what a privilege it is to introduce to you Distinguished Service Winner from District 2, Miss Jerry DeMenthe.
Thank you so much. This is truly an honor, and I'm so humbled. But I must say that I have to give thanks to the 4-H Club people in Bradley County. Had it not been for a 4-H Club scholarship that I was able to win and go to UT, otherwise I would not have gotten to go. So I have to say and challenge you to work for 4-H as much as you can and encourage these young people, because I truly believe in what it provides. And I certainly do love agriculture, and Farm Bureau has been just wonderful. And I certainly thank all of you. I appreciate my family being here. 3 of our children got to come, and I'm so happy that they did. And thank all of you so much.
Maxine More from Knoxville, Tennessee, and I was born there on June the 23rd, 1941.
Mrs. Maxine More was the older of 2 children born to Charles Mack and Geneva Byerly. Her father had a butcher shop in downtown Knoxville, and she and her brother attended elementary school there, and later the family moved on to 60 acres just outside of Knoxville, where they had cattle, hogs, and chickens. She graduated from Young's High School in 1959. She then went on to receive her bachelor's degree in home economics from the University of Tennessee, and later her master's. And it was in 1963 when she began work as a 4-H extension agent in Bradley County. Over the next 9 years, she helped to make a positive and lasting impact on the lives of young people, and the number of 4-H'ers actually doubled during her years of service. And then in 1972, she put her own personal skills to work each day in a different setting as she began life together with John Moore, a local dairyman.
I'd see her just tension, and that she'd look up at me, and I just turned my head and walked away.
Can you imagine that?
You know.
So I
We saw her at the dairy show and in the fall, and I asked her for a date at that, and she said, I'm going to Myrtle Beach leaving tomorrow. So I didn't call her back for a year. I told her she chased me till I called her. And but that's the best day's work I done when I called her.
The Moores started their own family and had 2 boys and a daughter. Their oldest son is still on the farm and an active leader in his church, while their daughter is married to a Baptist minister in South Carolina, and their youngest son is a youth minister in Ottawa. And they're enjoying now their 6 grandchildren that would represent the 9th generation of Moores on the family farm.
It's through the help of the Lord helping us that we've got 3 children that are outstanding leaders in their community they live in.
The Moores have always been active in their church work. Today they attend Candies Creek Baptist, and up until her battle with a severe encephalitis virus in 2006 that almost took her life, Mrs. Moore in particular was a leader in the Sunday school and especially the music programs.
And after she became the choir director, she started a graded choir program for the children, and which she was very proud of and was anxious to work with. And had a lot of the children that went even to the state competition in the Baptist Association and to sing in the choir. And so she thoroughly enjoyed that, and watching these young boys and girls learn to sing and grow up, and not only sing, but learn the biblical message that was in the song that they were learning to sing. I'm proud of what I've seen some of our children become. They're good singers, and some of them musicians, and outstanding citizens in our county.
Perhaps what the Moores may be most proud of is their work through Farm Bureau. She has served on the board of directors for the past 34 years, and working through the organization, they helped to stop the city of Cleveland in the mid-1990s from building an airport on their farm, and her work with Farm Bureau Women and the Ag in the Classroom program has been exemplary. For years, the Moores have hosted farm tours for children on the farm, sharing the story about agriculture and its importance to our daily lives. And she was the inspiration that helped to bring about a new Farm Bureau office for the county.
Maxine actually was the first board member that was very instrumental in the movement in getting our new office. She had come into the other office and was, I guess, concerned that we really just didn't have any parking over there, and we were outgrowing it fast. And she was the first person on the board who kind of mentioned to me that we might need to look at doing something, and so I always remember for that, because that's worked out well. We're fortunate to have the facility we have here now. So a lot of that's thanks to
Can you
Maxine.
imagine me doing that?
Yeah, you were
I feels like an imaginary.
you were the first.
But I think more important is what made Farm Bureau what it is the years that I've been involved in it. It's been biblically based, the things that they do. And when it's biblically based, well then it will stand when all else falls.
In 2004, the Moores were selected as members of the Bradley County Agricultural Hall of Fame. And today, because of her commitment to her family, her community, and Farm Bureau, she receives the Distinguished Service Award.
Well, I'm overjoyed. I know there's a lot of great people in East Tennessee in our area, in our district, but I think that whoever was responsible for this realized the work that she's done and has done as a mother and as a homemaker, as a Farm Bureau member, and all, how that it's helped the community. And I think that I may be prejudiced, but I'm very proud and support her in this.
Unbelievable. I've been, of course, involved in this the last couple of years. It lasts a long time, but had not ever felt that I'd done anything that would be. So I guess you have to come up with somebody, and I guess that was it. But I was surprised.
Each time I'm like Eric, this is probably the highlight of the year to get to honor these people because they're what made Farm Bureau for us today. And each time District 3 would meet in Chattanooga, Miss Maxine would always be there when she was able, and she's just an integral part of what made District 3 meetings a success. And I just really didn't know that she's such a fine 4-H agent that John had took away from her at that time. I just really didn't know that till this morning. They told me what a fine 4-H agent she was. But this time I want to give Miss Maxine her plaque, and we really appreciate what all she's done for Farm Bureau.
Thank you.
You want to stand?
Thank you so much. This is a nice honor for me and for those who have behind me all the way, my husband and my children, and all those who have given me extra help when I needed it. And I appreciate it so much. And I thank each of you for what you have done to help our children grow. Continue to do that. Thank you.
My name is Albert Nash, and I was born in Putnam County, Cookeville, Tennessee. My date of birth is December 26th of 38.
Mr. Albert Bill Nash was the second oldest of 8 children born to Willard and Ada Vassell Nash. He had a twin brother that died at just 26 days old. His parents had a farm and sawmill that the kids grew up on, and he remembers well just how his mother spent a lot of time in the kitchen.
Mother, she stayed home. She didn't work and took care of the family. She'd have to cook a lot, and when I was growing up, she used 25 pounds of flour a week. Making biscuits and feeding everybody and feeding the work hands, and cured the meat, canned food, and growed a big garden, and just lived off of the farm.
Mr. Nash attended Nash's Chapel Elementary School and then graduated from Baxter Seminary High School in 1957. And it was in 1954 that his father started a grade A dairy, and young Bill remembers delivering the milk almost each morning into Cookeville before school.
We tow milk then in cans, and we put the cans on a pickup truck and haul it to Pier Milk Company. And before I went to school, and then I drove on down to Baxter and went to school. I done that for 2 years. And one year I didn't have any driver's license. I just drove to the age 15. And the second year I had a driver's license, of course.
After high school, Mr. Nash continued working on the farm and at the sawmill, and also started working at the Keene Corporation factory in Cookeville until 1970. But it was in 1958 when he met the former Rowena Massa, and they were married on October 29, 1960.
I sort of had my eye out for her. I'd seen her once before, and I met her over at her grandpa's store, and country grocery store, and then we went together for 3 years, and till she got out of high school, and then we got married.
The Nashes soon started their family and had 3 children, and now have 7 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. When they married, they purchased 75 acres of land and built a home and started their own farming operation. And in 1970, they started their own Grade A dairy, and today their 2 sons are now carrying on that tradition and hopeful to pass it on to the next generation. All along his career, Mr. Nash has been active in the community, serving on the Putnam Farmers Co-op Board for 18 years and the State Co-op Board for 7 years. And for over 50 years, the family has been involved in Farm Bureau.
Farm Bureau was the agriculture agency. Right hand, the closest thing you could be to farming, and the issues that the Farm Bureau represented was important to me, and I enjoyed it, and the Farm Bureau helps the farmer more than anybody else. In any one agency, or that's the way I feel about it. They help the farmer, and I just enjoyed it, and enjoyed the people.
Mr. Nash has served on the board of directors in Putnam County for nearly 40 years, 10 of those as president, and his leadership on the Dairy Advisory Committee was invaluable. And his wife has been active as well with the Women's Committee and working through the Ag in the Classroom program. And their 2 sons were active in Young Farmers and Homemakers. And since he can remember, his family has always been a part of Nash Grove Missionary Baptist Church.
I joined the church when I was 21, and I served 25 years as treasurer, and I don't know how many years I've served as deacon, more than, I guess, 30 years or more. I think what a man does in life makes a difference, and I just feel like a fellow needs to go to church. It's been a way of life for me too. And I married a woman, and she was a strong Christian woman, and she helped keep me in church too.
Mr. Nash has been a strong leader and example for his church, his family, and Farm Bureau. And because of that commitment and dedication, his name is added to the list of Farm Bureau distinguished leaders.
It sort of shocked me. I didn't feel like that I deserved it. And I did feel like I maybe might have been too young, and just stuff like that, But I did appreciate it, and I'm proud to serve Farm Bureau and been a part of it, and made a lot of friends, and that I wouldn't have known if I just stayed on the farm.
Well, it's an honor for me. We know him as Bill, but Albert Nash, he has been an inspiration to a whole lot of us down through the years. As I look out over the crowd, I think of how many that have dedicated their lives to Farm Bureau, and Albert's one of them. He's been great. We appreciate everything he's done, and thank you so much, Albert.
I just like to thank everyone for what they have done for me over the years, and I'm glad to have my family with me this morning, part of them anyway, and the others couldn't make it, one of them is sick. And I just glad to be a part of Farm Bureau. Thank you a lot.
My name is Raymond Leroy Helton. I was born September the 4th, 1942 in Sevier County, and not far from where we live presently.
Mr. Leroy Helton was the 4th of 5 children born to Ernest and Reba Helton. Although his father worked the night shift at the Alcoa Aluminum Company, the Helton family always farmed, and Mr. Leroy grew up appreciating hard work and farm life.
Most people were engaged and did a little bit of farming or grew vegetables or something, that sort. and you knew everybody that was out here. There was no traffic, you know. I can remember the tobacco production, the fact that I never quite enjoyed it as much in those days as I did on the latter years. We raised tobacco up until about 3 years ago. You know, it was just hard work. And that was an era when we were just changing from we had horses at one time, and then we got our first tractor, I believe, in 1950, and that was a big event.
Mr. Helton attended Laurel Grove Elementary and went on to graduate from Sevier County High School in 1960. And it was his high school ag education classes that led him to his career choice when he enrolled at the University of Tennessee, where he graduated in 1964 with his degree in ag education and went on to get his master's in 1973. He taught ag at Parrotsville High School his first year, and then a position came open at his alma mater, which allowed him to go back home to the farm. And it was in December of 1965 that he would marry his childhood friend, the former Barbara Branton.
We grew up together and we knew each other practically all our life through school and church activities. After I got out of high school, started dating, occasionally, and then I went to university, and Barbara, she moved to Knoxville, and she went to business college in Knoxville, and then she worked at the university. And so, we just gradually spent more time together. And so after I graduated and went to work, we got married. I always told someone that got married on December 22nd, that's one of the shortest days of the year, and I said, there's brighter days ahead, and they were.
The Heltons had 2 children, both of whom grew up to be teachers. Darren is following his father's footsteps as the ag teacher at Sevier County High School today, and they now enjoy their 2 grandchildren. Mr. Helton, or Big L, as he was known by his students and fellow ag teachers, taught ag education for 39 years before retiring. And during that time, the family always grew cattle, tobacco, hay, and some row crops, and he continues to farm and support the FFA today. And leadership has always been a big part of Mr. Helton's life. He's been a member of the Tennessee Cattlemen's Association, the Sevier County Livestock Association, where he served as president. He's a member of both the Sevier County and Foothills Co-op, where he was director back in the 80s. And he's been a county committee member for the Farm Service Agency for the past 6 years. But it was back more than 40 years ago when he first began teaching that Mr. Helton became familiar with the Farm Bureau.
First things I remember Farm Bureau, especially when I came back to Sevier County High School to teach school, one of the first people that I met was the president of the Farm Bureau, and he came up to the school just to visit. He wanted to meet, with me, and he told me, said if he could help us in any way, he'd be glad to do so, and so and I've always been close to the Farm Bureau organization as far as through the schoolwork and everything since then. And then I've always thought that the Farm Bureau always had a very effective group of people that were looking out for the best interest of the agriculture and the farming community in the state and nation.
Mr. Helton has served on the board of directors for the last 12 years, holding the office of vice president, and is now serving in his 2nd term as president. And ever since he can remember, both Leroy and Barbara have attended the Laurel Grove Baptist Church, where he continues to be a strong leader.
We have both attended there all of our life, and we still attend. Barbara is the church clerk and treasurer, and I've served in different capacity. I've served as a Sunday school superintendent and a trustee at present, and also a deacon in the church. The church has been an important part of our life. We very, very seldom, miss the church service, and it's just an important part of the community, an important part of our life.
We got married here.
Because of Mr. Leroy Helton's lifelong commitment to agriculture, youth leadership development, and dedication to his family, community, and Farm Bureau, he receives the organization's highest honor, the Distinguished Service Award.
This is very unexpected, and it's very humbling to, I don't know how my name came up, but it was very surprising. And when Kevin and Roger, our agent, they told me they wanted to go to lunch one day and discuss another matter, and then they handed me the letter. That was very, very unexpected, and I know I know I don't deserve it, but there's hundreds of people out there that have done a lot more than I have for the Farm Bureau organization.
You know, this great organization we have here didn't just happen. A lot of people did a lot of extra behind the scenes work to make it all happen. And Mr. Leroy is one of them, and we'd like to thank you. It seems so inadequate just to hand the man a little plaque for all the work they've done to make this such a wonderful organization. But thank you, Mr. Leroy.
This is very humbling to accept this plaque, this honor for me and Barbara, but I'd like to thank my local Farm Bureau for giving me the chance to serve with them over the last few years, and I'd like to thank everyone for all the help they've given us over the years. Thank you very much.